Welcome back. Lend me your ear. It's a common expression used to try and grab people's attention. In today's coverage from Callaway, KOMU's Michael Brannen shows us one farmer who lends his own ears to the tune of 10 grand.
Bruce Schrock has been farming for years.
We've raised sweet corn for several years and just given it to neighbors and people we know in town and out in the country.
But this year, Schrock is trying to do something a little different.
Bruce had a sincere desire to help someone that was less fortunate.
It was just one of those things that we thought, you know, this is a great idea.
That great idea became a huge donation of sweet corn.
We just thought it might be a good idea to raise a big patch and use it as a service project.
So on a steamy Saturday morning, Schrock invited friends and volunteers to stop by one of his fields to pick sweet corn, with all of the proceeds going to local food distributors.
The demand for food is really high right now. The supply is low. And any kind of produce, whether it's fresh garden vegetables or sweet corn from this wonderful field, we're thrilled to be able to receive it so we can pass it out to those who need it.
As Rourke puts it, volunteers are the lifeblood of organizations like SERVE and the Callaway Action Network.
This is just a really neat opportunity for kids and for grown-ups alike to just get involved and do something to help their neighbor or even a stranger.
And those who showed up understand the importance of their service.
It's fun.
Just go around and grab it.
And you're doing it for a good cause.
It's just a small way I can just go out and just pick corn for somebody else that needs it maybe a little bit more than I do.
But it's not that great getting poked in the eye with all these.
To have young people come out knowing that they're doing this just as a service project for people that aren't as lucky as we are maybe, and it's just great to know that young people are willing to do that kind of thing.
The ones that are out here working and sharing with someone, that's an important life lesson for them, I think.
It's a life lesson that's paying off. At $1.50 per pound and nearly 2 truckloads full of corn, Schrock's donation is more than generous. In fact, nearly 2 hours of work from over a dozen volunteers yielded more than 6,000 pounds of corn. That translates into a donation of just under $10,000.
To accomplish anything of this nature, 2 truckloads of corn are going out to people that can use it, so that's a success.
And for Schrock, the work is not over.
We'll probably do this again next year, and we'll start a little earlier, maybe get a little bit more organized, and hoping we can get more youth involved or people in the area involved in it.
You take a lot of help to harvest something like this, and the more bodies, the better, and that's why we're here.
I think everybody needs to look at it as this is doing something that's not just good for the community, but it's the right thing to do.
Call it corny, but even a little help doesn't fall on deaf ears. Just ask Schrock.
To know there's a good segment of something going on in the world, it's kind of nice to see.
For this week's coverage from Callaway, Michael Brannen, KOMU News, Callaway County.
You guys want to ride?
Friday nights are busy for Ray Holtmeyer.
Well, I'm just running a shuttle tonight, for the fans, so they don't, if they want to ride, we'll give them a ride down to the stadium. And then after games, I'll haul them back to their cars, if they want to.
He picks up fans in his school bus.
You guys want to ride?
And drops them off for Blair Oaks games.
I love to drive. That's why I was a truck driver, and that's why I went into transportation and the guard to drive tractor trailers and drive trucks.
Holtmeyer spent 25 years behind the wheel for the National Guard.
We wound up in Desert Storm, Desert Shield. I was over there for 4 months and 21 days. Put about 8,000 miles on the truck hauling supplies in the desert.
Yeah. With military life behind him, Holtmeyer moved to Osage Bend. But things got a little bumpy.
My wife had an illness and I needed some extra money, and I went to the guy that owned the bus at the contractor, and I said, you know what, I wouldn't mind driving bus part-time, and he said, well, I'd love to have you, and here I am, been here ever since.
In that time, Ray has had his hand in every Blair Oaks state championship. He drives all the teams, from baseball to track to football.
Do they have any names for you at all? Or
Well, if they do, I don't know about it. If they do, I don't know about it. They may have, but most of the kids, I think, we get along just fine. I'm up here seeing other kids go through what I went through, and it's interesting to see kids really interested into trying to achieve things while they're in school. So when they get out of school, they'll have something to look back on what they did while they was in Burroughs.
Holtmeyer finally takes a seat in the second quarter to cheer on the Falcons.
It's fun being up here watching the game, and it's just a lot of excitement. There's always something going on, and you're right here with it.
Right along for the ride. Mike Brannen, KOMU 8 Sports, Wardsville.
Yesterday, KOMU 8's Mike Brannen was upstream in Hannibal. Today, he was downstream at a broken levee in St. Charles County. Mike?
Jim and Vanessa, at about 2 o'clock this morning, the Elm Point levee gave way, rushing water into streets and fields north of the city. And for St. Charles County residents, life is about moving around it, or not. MoDOT officials say traffic will continue to move safely on highways 370 and I-70. But moving is not part of Al Seeberger's vocabulary.
I've lived here 35 years.
The moving is part of the locals checking out the flooding.
See, there's more cars.
By her house.
Sightseers, picture takers. But they never help to do anything, though.
With the levees broken, the Mississippi River has completely flooded this part of Seeberger Road. And in fact, there's more rain and thunder in the forecast, which could mean higher levels.
I'm going to beat that thunderstorm.
Jim Rowe lives on Hooster Road, where flooding wiped out streets. Right now, he can only move about town in a boat.
You know, of course, you got to put your boots on, carry dry shoes with you, and carry all your belongings in a plastic bag so they don't get wet, and watch the weather real close.
When rain hit Tuesday, it came down hard, but not hard enough to make Seeberger move.
When it's not raining, it's a wonderful place out here, and it's quiet, and I love it.
Quiet before the storm.
Well, when you go to a sporting event, you can sit back, relax, and watch the game. But as KOMU 8's Mike Brannen reports, sometimes you just can't ignore that one annoying fan or his 8 friends.
Fans can get a little loud.
You're about as useful as a submarine with a screen door!
And you've probably seen the Antlers have a little fun at MU games. But just up Highway 63, another group of fans is also making some noise. Whether you like it or not, led by junior Andrew Hurley, the Nasty Nine of Macon sprung to life after it had been dead.
2002 was my sister's senior year, and they had the Nasty Nine 2002. And she told me, she said, y'all should bring it back this year. So we brought it back. Nasty Nine's back in Macon.
Swarming, shouting, and of course, screaming at opponents, the Nine are just living up to their name.
I try to be kind of nice to them, but still be nasty at the same time.
Even when their rival is in town. The Nasty Nine stand out so much that other schools are taking notice. In fact, South Shelby debuted their own student cheering section called the Nerdy Nine.
We knew Macon had the Nasty Nine, and we wanted to make fun of them by making the Nerdy Nine.
Instead of sitting where they were supposed to sit in their student section, they came over and sit in our student section. So whenever we got here, that didn't go off too well.
When the buzzer sounds and their school is the victor, the Nine do clean up their act. Even if they don't, turn it down. Mike Brannen, KOMU 8 Sports, Macon.
Mike, thanks. Now we'll take a break.